Good evening from Old Trafford, where it's been one of those European nights for Manchester United here, fitting in a way on a night when United paid tribute to Sir Bobby Charlton, that they produced certainly not an epic performance, but an epic finish to a game they had to win, not only to pay an on-pitch homage to Charlton, but to keep their to get back on track in the Champions League, and they got that 1-0 win against FC Copenhagen, a game that finished in dramatic circumstances. Let's start from the beginning. The tributes to Charlton, wonderfully poignant tributes, really emotional pre-match and handled brilliantly, I think, by Manchester United. You have to say, poignant, emotional, really well handled. Ten Hag, Dan Gore and Alex Stepney laying a wreath pre-kick-off, being accompanied from the tunnel by a lone piper. The FC Copenhagen fans holding a banner as well with a famous Bobby Charlton quote, and rest in peace to Bobby Charlton on it. I think that was handled superbly by this football club and by both sets of fans. It really was a tribute that everyone who was here tonight will remember. It was perfectly done for Sir Bobby, and I think his family watching would have been very proud of the way that turned out. And fans been laying flowers all day as well at the Trinity statue. That's scarves and flowers there. Looks fantastic, and you can tell what Sir Bobby meant to this football club and to fans of this football club. And only fitting that they got the victory in the end on this night of all nights. They actually started the game pretty poorly, whether it was the emotion of those tributes and starting a bit subdued, but FC Copenhagen really come out the blocks quickly. 15 minutes in, they'd had 5 shots, 4 corners, hit the woodwork, should probably have scored, and it took United a long time to settle, and settle they did, but the first half in general was just a really slack performance, especially poor in possession, the midfield disjointed. McTominay played very high up. I actually thought he did okay and was a bit of a threat in the opposition box, but he was playing so high. Amrabat was playing so deep. Fernandes was going everywhere to try and get on the ball and inject some pace into the performance, and it just didn't work. It was really disjointed. United lacked ideas when they were in possession, and things needed to change at half-time, and change they did. Christian Eriksen coming on at the break for the 3rd game in a row at Old Trafford, which is remarkable, really. Amrabat the one to make way this time, and I don't think he can have any complaints if these 2 games have been in his audition to replace Casemiro or challenge Casemiro for that holding role, then he has failed that audition, really. He was particularly poor tonight, I thought, and again, just as at Sheffield United on Saturday, Christian Eriksen came on and changed the game. Fantastic on the ball. I think recently this is as well as he's played since before that ankle injury in January. I think this is the Eriksen that started for United at the start of last season, that made such a difference to the quality of their football, and again, he basically transformed this performance. United was so much better in possession in the second half, so much more of a threat, and so much of that was because of Eriksen. He should have had an assist when he sent Marcus Rashford through, but Rashford took a heavy touch. Garnacho did the same thing when he was sent through on goal. Garnacho again looked pretty lively when he came off the bench for Anthony, and you got the sense then that just maybe it wasn't going to happen for United on a night when they had to win, but eventually the goal came. Eriksen got the assist, the cross for Harry Maguire, whose redemptive arc continues. Goal was checked for offside. He was just onside, which was for the best, as he'd celebrated in front of the Stretford end with a heart to the fans and thumping the badge on his chest. And it's the first time Maguire has started 3 games in a row under Ten Hag, and he was good again. He's had three good games in a row now for United. He was good for England against Italy. He deserved that goal tonight. Ten Hag has referenced in his post-match press conference about how his use of the ball and his ability on the ball is improving, basically. And you can see that. I thought that was definitely the case at Bramall Lane on Saturday, and this was another step in the right direction for Maguire, who, with Martinez injured, should be looking at a run of 15-20 games now maybe in this team. I think he's clearly ahead of Lindelof in the pecking order, and you'd have Maguire and Varane as your first choice defence at the moment, and I imagine that'll be the defence that will start the derby on Saturday. And that looked like being it for United. At that point, they kind of got a grip of the game, got control of the game, but at 1-0, anything can happen, and anything did happen. Deep into added time, gone past the 4 minutes, and Copenhagen get a penalty. Scott McTominay conceding a penalty for the 2nd game in a row. It was Oscar Højlund, Rasmus Højlund's brother, who headed the ball back across goal, and McTominay with a high boot affecting the attacking player, and a penalty given. I think the right call, really. And to keep the United connections going, it was Jordan Larsson, Henrik Larsson's son, who stepped up from the penalty spot. Garnacho etching his name into United folklore by scuffing up that penalty spot before he took it. Steve McLaren on the touchline making a few gestures to Onana by the looks of things about the penalty taker, and he guessed right, made a superb one-handed save with his right hand, turning the ball around the post, and that was the very last touch of the game. The referee blew the final whistle straight after that, and the scenes of celebration will live long in the memory. A night that started and ended with things that will live long in the memory, even if the The middle bit wasn't exactly memorable. Every outfield player rushed to Onana. The substitutes poured onto the pitch and rushed to Onana. He's obviously had a difficult time of late. This could be massive. This could be a turning point in his United career. And it was a night when United had to win for many reasons. It was a night when they did win, and it ended in the kind of dramatic fashion under the floodlights on a European night here that Sir Bobby Charlton will be all too familiar with.